Hello everyone, welcome to round 3 of our My Team All Schumacher career mode. Now, this is the Chinese Grand Prix, as we're only doing a 16 race calendar, a little bit out of order, a little bit out of whack of what the normal order would be, the proper 2020 order. So we've got 19 degrees in the race, overcast, we have got some rain coming later in the race, so we'll get to that in just a moment. Here's a little look at the Chinese circuit. Of course, we know this very well. And straight on then to the car performance. So we have managed to improve our car just a little bit for the Chinese Grand Prix compared to the previous Hanoi circuit. And looks like we're almost exactly the same performance as the Alfa Romeo. And the Haas team has actually caught us a little bit. But we have actually managed to catch the Alfa Tauri just a little bit as well. They've had no updates at all for the last race. So more or less the same as last race. But Haas were a little bit more competitive. And we're a little bit closer to the Alfa Tauri. Here's a look at the grid then. All expected out the front, really. Mercedes, Red Bull, Ferrari, all 2 by 2 there. No penalties so far. Everything's looking pretty much as we'd expect in terms of the car performance and also combined with the drive performance. Can't see ourselves just yet though, so we haven't had the greatest quality in the world. There we are, Michael Schumacher down in 19th. I've still got the British flag. I need to change it to a German flag. But 19th, and our teammate there was 21st. This is how we did it then in qualifying. You see, this is right at the very end of quality. Our best current is a 31.844. All looking a bit overcast in qualifying. We're actually P15 at the moment, so I was thinking this is going to be really good. I just thought we have actually managed to finish 19th, so let's just see how we did it, see if we lost any time anywhere. Sending it into turn 1 nicely. Very, very similar to our best lap. Actually a little bit up at this point at least, but losing it through the middle of the corner. Trying to get also down, keep a nice tight line on these soft tyres, get on the power, trying to have a good exit. It's very tricky in this car, though. A bit of wheel spin, but it's okay. We're about half a tenth up on our previous, so looking good at the moment. Coming to the end of the first sector, compromises at half a tenth up. Getting also down braked a little bit late there, a bit early actually, a little bit early. Caused us to have a bit of a late apex, bit of an early apex. Well, I keep getting my lates and earlies mixed up, so it cost us a bit of time for there. We're now actually almost a tenth down on our best, so it's not been the greatest lap so far. But I know that the first sort of 2/3 of the lap was pretty good on my previous laps. I'm not too upset at the moment. I'm just going to send it now. We're now almost 2 tenths down, but I know in the next turn I did make a little mistake in my previous lap, so can we improve? We should be able to by keeping it nice and tight, went a bit deep the previous time. There it is. Look at that time coming tumbling down. Not the best exit. We're actually only half a tenth down at one point there. Gaining it all back on the exit there. Look, so we did just gain a tenth and a half for that sequence of corners. An awful lot of time. If we were able to stay with our previous best lap through the previous 2/3 of the lap, we would have been now a tenth and a half up, but never mind. Coming into the hairpin now, we know we've got to absolutely send it to get anywhere. Getting also down nicely, taking a bit of curb on the inside, second gear, trying to get the exit, which is nice enough, but actually not as good as our best lap. We're almost a tenth down. We're going to absolutely send it to the final corner, see if we can improve. We haven't quite hit our apex perfectly. We're a little bit wide, but we had a good enough exit, and actually we managed to improve by 400ths at the line, as that delta wasn't quite perfectly accurate. The 400ths improvement, but still ended up down in 19th, so not been the best quality. But I will take it. We out-qualified a teammate, which is always the best measure of performance. Now, this is the strategy. As I mentioned, some rain is forecast towards the end of this race. And this is just a preview here of what happens with my fuel. See there, it was on 28 laps of fuel. And as soon as I adjusted it, it was like, oh, the minimum is now 35 laps of fuel. So, a bit strange. But anyway, jumping straight into the grid, we're going to start on the medium tyres and one stop going to the hard tyres later in the race. Then probably the inters at some point. And we're away then, trying to get a good enough start. Pretty good there. Got a slightly better start than Kevin Magnussen to our right, but he has now got a better launch than us. I think we're just a little bit down on power at the moment. Trying to go around his outside. He's got the Ferrari engine, of course. See if we can hold it on the outside with no dirty air. And actually, we're flying on the outside. It's overtaking several guys. Not even sure how many we overtook there. But the Benetton team having a really, really nice start. The Schumacher driver of the Benetton team, well, one of the Schumachers I should say, up to P14 off the start. That's been a really, really good start. Sending it on the outside was clearly the right move. Let's see if they break early. They do indeed, almost avoiding action really to get around them there. Puts us all the way up to P11 if we can hold it up the inside of Daniel Kvyat, which we managed to do nicely, up to P11 from 19th on the grid. Been a really, really strong start. Round the outside was clearly the correct way to go there. And we've just really managed to nail it. And now we need to try and see if we can stick with Perez. And interestingly, look in the top left. All of the guys ahead, well, we see 2 of them, and I can tell you that the rest of them ahead are all on soft tyres. We're now only behind the guys that made it to Q3, or would have been Q3 actually, only do an 18-minute quali, but effectively it would have been Q3, so it means they all start on the tyres that they qualified on, whereas we did not have to, and neither did P11 down. So we are now actually right at the front of the pack on medium tyres. We've got past every single medium runner, which is actually a really, really nice place to be, because the guys ahead, although they'll be quicker, they're on quicker tyres for now, and they've got quicker cars. Their tyres will wear much quicker than us. Their tyres have already done quali, and now they're doing a race lap. So we should be able to stick them, which we are doing really nicely, actually. We're only 3 tenths back from Perez there. Despite our little bit draggy car, we're not very quick in a straight line at the moment. We hopefully have some updates soon to address that weakness, but for now, we're looking okay for on Perez. We might even be able to start to move through the field. So run very wide, lots of wheel spin there, right out on the AstroTurf, and that does cost us a bit of time. We're still sticking with Perez relatively nicely here. Skipping ahead then to the middle of lap 3, and this is where DRS comes into play. See, we drop back just a little from Perez, just outside the second and section lines here. Can we get it? I think we did. Just about sneak into the DRS, and that was through quite tactical driving there. I saw it was outside, so I just absolutely sent it into that corner. I knew it was going to compromise my exit, but I had to get the DRS because that's probably worth, well, I couldn't tell you, to be honest, how much it's worth, but it's probably worth probably about 2, 3, 4 tenths, complete guess. So it's a fairly substantial amount of time. So we've managed to get DRS, and see now onto lap 6. I managed to stick with Perez all this time, and I knew if I could just stick with them for those first couple of laps, the tyres will start to go off. And indeed, they come into the pits on lap 6. We're actually running till lap 12, so plenty of time. But now we're going to have Daniel Kvyat for close company. But we managed to get all the way to lap 12 without him really bothering us too much. For some reason, they were just a little bit slow in a straight line. Perhaps it's because it was Kvyat with the Honda engine, same as us. I think if it was a Force India or even a Haas, we probably would have struggled there. But anyway, coming into the pits, going on to the hard tyres. Looks got Perez coming around our outside. We're actually gone all the way down to 19th. Can we sneak up back the inside of it? I think he's just a bit too quick. We're going to try it. We're going to try it. We're going to send it. Oh, he's squeezing us all the way onto the grass there. To be honest, that was fair enough. We were being a little bit, well, we're trying our luck there, weren't we? As it was the AI, we thought maybe he'll get out of the way if we just stick our nose in there, but he didn't. Fair enough. We're now back in 19th position. We are the first of the guys on the medium starters to pit. So we need to push now. This is our out lap. Hopefully a lot of the guys will be on an in lap. So if we really push hard, we should theoretically be able to come back out ahead of them. Our tyres were struggling a little bit on the medium tyres towards the end of that stint. We did 12 laps, but didn't drop a single position, and actually we led that entire stint. Well, not the entire stint, ever since everyone pitted, we led about 4 or 5 laps of the race there, which is definitely a first for the Benetton, the 2020 Benetton F1 team. I need to call that something different, don't I? Because I don't like saying it's the first for the Benetton team, because it isn't. We're basing it on a team that has had World Championship success before, but it's a should we say the reborn Benetton team? That's what we're going to say, I think. Because they led the race for the first time for the reborn Benetton team. That'll do. But we managed to get some DRS on Perez. Will we be able to overtake him? I've got absolutely no idea. It's looking like we might be able to get close, but nope, not really close enough. Nowhere near close enough. We just didn't have the power there. Didn't have the power. Didn't have the drag. We had too much drag, I should say, really. So it's going to be difficult to pass Perez, I think. But if we can stick with him, we might have half a chance. He is on the hard tyres. He's also been out on this tyre for a number of laps. And the guys are now in the pits. Who is it? It was these two. They're on the pit exit now that were behind us. And they are still comfortably behind us, actually. Really quite comfortably. So that was a quick enough out lap that managed to stay comfortably ahead of all the guys that pitted after us. And now we're on DRS here against Perez on lap 14. Wide open, not quite close enough to make the move. Just trying to stick nice and close to him. He's on more worn and harder tyres, so we should have a great chance of getting past him. So need to stick nice and close, just 3 tenths back coming to the final turn. If we have a really nice final turn, we'll get another stab of DRS. See if we can use some overtake mode, see if we can get past him. We know we're a little bit quicker at the moment using overtake, DRS and everything. Rich, everything we've got to try and get up inside. He's let us have the inside line, and that enables us to get past relatively easily in the end. We saw, even with all of our toys deployed, rich fuel, overtake ERS and DRS, we still were only just really able to get past him. So just shows that we are struggling for straight line speed at the moment. But we managed to get past him nice and easy, up to P10 at the moment, which is a points paying position. We've not been in this position before. Skipping ahead now then to lap 15, and it looks like, is it just starting? Yes, it is starting to rain. There's a few streaks of rain on our chassis there. A few little spots on the screen as well. As actually Vettel comes to the pits for some reason. He's pit again. That puts us up to P9. So we're now actually on for 2 points if we can stick it to the end. But we've got lots of rain coming in now. Lots and lots of rain. We're on lap 18 now. It's been 2 laps since the rain started. And you can see we are just struggling for speed. There's not a lot of grip on the track anymore with our hard tyres. Of course, I was mentioning before that Perez was on hards. Of course, we were on hards as well. That was a little mistake. Apologies about that. But he was on more worn tyres. We managed to get past him nicely. But now, this is probably our in-lap, I would have thought. This is looking quite slippy. It is still raining on lap 18 of 28, so we've got 10 laps left to go. We're down to lean fuel, and actually, I was struggling to manage my fuel a little bit in this race. I got to about halfway through the race, I think I started on 9 laps of spare fuel, and I think I was on about 4. So that's roughly half, but I am using a bit more than I should do. So now I was just trying to be a bit cautious on fuel to make sure I can make it to the end, because I wasn't 100% on that. And with the slightly broken fuel indicator, it was really hard for me to tell exactly how much fuel I needed. So anyway, how are we getting on here? It is quite slippy, but we're doing okay. It's not that slippy. I can't imagine Inters are going to be much quicker than this. It's not great. We're a lot slower than what we otherwise would have been, but on a completely dry track, that is. But yeah, I wouldn't have thought we'd be much quicker on the Inters.
The situation is pretty touch and go right now. We think the slicks may still be quicker, but it's very close, and you're going to struggle to keep them in the temperature window. The Inters are ready when you need them. A new strategy is available on the MFD.
Okay, so our engineer telling us then, first of all, that it's very marginal as to whether we should go Inters or not, and then eventually that actually new strategy is available, which means it is now time. It's the switchover point. So we should now come into the pits. It looks like probably everyone will follow us behind us. Yes, they do. So it now is the absolute switchover time. Very wide, almost touching the barrier, but managed to just drift it just inside the barrier. Again, also down nice and early on this slippy track. And let's have a look there. We need to come out ahead of the cars behind. It's not going to be easy. They're only probably about a second back or so. We need a really nice stop from the guys. We're at the end of the pit lane. So we do need a really, really nice stop. And hopefully we don't get held up by the cars behind. We're going to be going to intermediate tyres. Probably till the end of this race unless it dries up. And we had a nice stop, really nice stop, 2 second stop. In fact, we've gained on the cars behind despite the reborn Benetton team being quite new to this grid. Only the 3rd race. Our pit stop's been really, really nice, and that puts us back at MP12, which is actually not bad at all. Especially as, look, Giovinazzi up ahead. He is on hard tyres, so is there anyone else ahead of him that's also on the dry tyres that will be coming in almost certainly at the end of this lap? Let's have a look at the gap. It's currently 4.8 seconds to Giovinazzi. It's already 4.5, so there's 3/10 just on one exit alone. Very similar in a straight line, not surprised. 4.5 coming into this corner. Let's see what we can gain. Nothing on the brakes, but on the apex speed, yes, there's 3/10 just on the apex speed alone. Better exit as well. And there's 4/10. We gained 4/10 through that corner. So clearly it's absolutely the right time for intermediate tyres. So everyone ahead will be pitting. Anyone that stayed out for the dry tyres will now be coming in for the intermediate tyres. So let's see. Let's see how we get on here. We should be able to gain. Well, we know we can gain 1 position. You know, Giovinazzi's coming in. We don't know who else is coming in at the moment. But at the moment, I'm just pushing hard just in case there was someone ahead of me that perhaps stayed out a little bit. Just stayed out a little bit too long. And maybe we can gain a position. But actually, we've only gained about 2 seconds on Giovinazzi so far. So the sort of difference isn't vast. It's not like we're gaining 5 seconds on this lap. It's a couple of seconds. So at the moment, it really is just about the guys that were behind us before we pit. Which of those did not come into for the wet tyres. And they will now come in for the wet tyres and give us some positions. Don't forget, we were up in 9th place, I believe it was. So we're looking pretty good for a couple of World Championship points, our very first World Champion points. Not only the first for Michael Schumacher, but also the first for the reborn Benetton team. So if we can hold on to a couple of points here, but we've now got totally new conditions to see who is into the pits. It's Giovinazzi, we know that for sure. Looking on the minimap, who else is in? There's a Ferrari in, it's Sebastian Vettel. There's also Forcinio, Lance Stroll, and there's a Renault just coming on the pit exit. We'll be able to get past himself. We're up to P9 at the moment. Can we go on his outside for P8? We're going to absolutely send it, and we're around his outside, and actually, that's moved on. He was a little bit cautious on the pit exit there, not knowing how much grip he had, and we're up to P8, which is 4 World Championship points. So having finished the previous 2 races in 11th place and just missing out on the points, we are now in a position to gain 4 World Championship points, which will make up for all of those. So looking pretty good. Skipping ahead now then to lap 24. And looks like we've got Ocon for close company still, but he's not managed to get past us, so we're doing okay. And actually, Max Verstappen is out. He must have been ahead of us, surely. Yes, look on the top left, look, DNF, Max Verstappen. We've got a VSC deployed. Hopefully that won't hold us up too much in terms of the car behind, but it looks like we're going to gain a position. Where is he? He must be on the track somewhere. He's ahead of us somewhere. Where is he? That one on the right. Yes, it is. That's Max Verstappen. That is going to give us another position. There it is, up to P7 for 6 World Championship points. This is a really big handful of points for our relatively uncompetitive car. We need to have a nice result here. Trying to get a good enough exit, but didn't want to get a penalty. Very, very cautious there. We had Esteban Ocon quite close behind us. We need to be very, very careful so that he didn't jump us on the, as I say, as the VSC ended, which we've managed to have a nice restart in the end. So staying comfortably ahead of him. Skip ahead now then to coming on to lap 26. He's very, very close behind us is Esteban Ocon. And let's have a listen to the weather report.
Radar is clear. Weather is looking good for now. Inters seem like the fastest tyre for now.
So we got no rain. It's stopped raining. Will we be back on dry tyres for the end of this race? We're skipping now to the penultimate lap. We've got Esteban Ocon for very close company, just half a second back. We know that the Renault is faster. The Renault is significantly faster, in fact. They might be a similar colour, but the Renault is going to be an awful lot faster than us. So we're going to struggle here. I think they are a little bit better in drying conditions for whatever reason as well. Even though you can see on the right side, they've got my tyre temperatures up. We're not overheating at the moment, but they are still quite significantly faster. We are now unboard, or unedited, I should say, till the end of this race. So we will now not skip any amount of time. We are going to the end of this race. We're currently in a position to get 6 World Championship points for both our reborn Benetton team and Michael Schumacher's first ever career points, which will be a mega achievement in this car. 1 point would have been a great achievement in this car. 6 is unbelievable. So we are 15 seconds behind Sainz and Ricciardo there, so you see they are significantly faster, but at the moment we've got a bit of a Schumacher train behind us. But actually look who it is. There's a Renault, a Racing Point. There is a AlphaTauri there who we're probably quite similar performance to, but another McLaren, then there's another Racing Point, then there's a Ferrari. So the cars we're holding up here are quick cars. It's not like we're only just holding up, you know, the slower cars, the Williams cars. We are actually holding up some seriously quick cars. Now, this is the important part. This is the straight, trying to get on the power as best I can, going up to Rich, going up to overtake. We've got quite a lot of ERS, thankfully. So the wet weather has helped us save up an awful lot of battery charge. Looks like we're going to be okay. Yes, because we deploy for some reason. I've noticed the AI don't seem to deploy much down this straight. And of course, no DRS at the moment going to the inside there. I thought I might have braked a little bit deep, so I got a bit scared that he was going to have a dive bomb. But he did not. Managed to get it all slowed down nicely. In fact, in the end, one more lap to go. One more corner, and then it's one more lap to go. We've taken that nicely. It's now just 1 lap to go. Half a second back from Esteban Ocon. 1 lap to 6 World Championship points. The first ever points for the reborn Benetton team. You look, see the tyres are quite worn there. Not overheating still though, so it's not too bad for now, but 40% tyre wear is quite a lot, and it is definitely drying out. The AI behind us are really a lot quicker in these drying conditions for whatever reason. You see, we really are just crawling around at the moment. There's just no grip. And I haven't been very cautious on the power as well, because I'm very mindful of overheating my rears. If I overheat my rears, I won't be able to get the exit onto the straight, and I'll probably lose 2, maybe even 3 positions, judging on how bunched up they are. So I need to be really careful on the exits. You can see throttle meter in the bottom right, just being so cautious, very slowly going up the meter there, and increasing my throttle application more and more. Also a bit mindful of fuel. We should be okay for fuel though. We've got 68%, 69%, 70% ERS charge, so plenty of that. So not worried about any of our usable straight line speed boosts. That's a terrible way of wording that, but we'll roll with it. We now got Esteban Ocon just 2 tenths behind us. Will he have a lunge here? No, he doesn't. He's going to wait for the straight. Less than 2 tenths behind us. We need a really clean exit. Really clean exit. He's so close behind us. We've got a real chance of losing at least a couple of points here. It's 2 points per place at the first couple of places. So need a nice clean exit. We've had a pretty good exit. Now full throttle. Absolute full throttle. He's 1/10.5 back. Rich fuel. Overtake ERS. Please don't do this to us, Esteban. We have fought so hard for this. We've been unchallenged. Actually, DRS is active. DRS has been reactivated, so he's going to try to go outside. He's actually technically passed us. We break at the same point, though. Get it all slowed down, push him a little bit wide. Need the exit now, though. Is anyone going to try the undercut? Nobody tried the undercut. We should be okay. 1 more corner to go for 6 World Championship points. He's now just over 3 tenths back, coming through the final turn. Need a nice, clean final turn, which he managed to do nicely. I didn't realise I had DRS till halfway down that straight, but we come across the line to take 6 World Championship points. The very first points of the reborn Benetton team, the very first points of Michael Schumacher's career. And what a race that was. Driver of the day, Michael Schumacher. That is right. That is purely based on positions gained from the grid, but I think we are genuinely the driver of the day. Because look at our teammate. Look how far down he was. He was, what's that, 30 seconds? More than that, 35 seconds back from us at the end of that race. We started 19th. We finished 7th. 7th position. That is unbelievable. And I tell you what, after that race, I was fist pumping everywhere. I was so chuffed with that result. Really strong result, especially in changeable conditions. It's the first time I've driven in the wet, I think, with this car. It's the first time I've had wet to dry conditions as well. I know it didn't quite go to the dry tyres, but really good result. I was absolutely buzzing with that. But anyway, guys, I hope you enjoyed that race. I very much did, and I think we're going to struggle to match, get any more points for the next couple of races, but we'll give it our best shot. We've got Zandvoort next, and don't forget to subscribe if you're new, and I do thank you all for watching. Bye-bye.